Hey guys, I'm Amy, and we're here today to talk about stuff that people often find it really awkward talking about.
My name is SN and I'm representing females working in male-dominated industries.
My name is Will and I'm representing people who have cancer.
My name is David and I'm here because I'm an older person who has changed his career later in life.
My name is Amy and I'm here to represent people who are blind.
And I'm representing amputees and people with disabilities. One thing we all have in common is people can be kind of awkward around these topics. I think we're here today just to show it's okay to talk about these things. Opening the floor up with, what's the most awkward thing you've ever been asked?
I remember this one particular occasion, one of the lads come up to me and said, "David, will you come out with us tonight?" I said, "Oh, great. I like a little drink straight after work. That would be fabulous. What's the plan?" He said, "Well, we're going to meet at 10 in the pub, have a couple of drinks, and then we're going clubbing." I'm thinking, meet at 10? I like to be in bed by 10. I thought it was just going to be a couple of nice little cheeky drinks at 5:30 when the office shut, and then poodle on home, but no.
I remember for a company, they're like, "Oh, so do you like to go out and drink?" And I felt like a bit embarrassed to say that I didn't drink.
How about yourself, Will?
I was thinking about it. Probably, "I'm so sorry to hear that. How long do you have?" And I'm like, "Damn, I ain't say I was dying. I ain't say I was dying now."
One of the ones that I got asked in a job interview was, how would you be able to navigate yourself around the building because we've got really sharp corners on our tables? And I didn't have the answer. I was like, it's just a table. I just think they'd made up their mind that it was way too hard to have someone blind in the building.
I think sometimes it'd be more awkward when people are avoiding questions altogether. So I've had people, when I've kind of mentioned my leg for some reason, people are like, "Oh, whoa, God, I did not notice that." Like, yes, you did. Or I think I had to take my leg off on a plane recently just because it swells up a bit, can't get it back on afterwards. And it was up in one of the baggage things. And then someone was trying to tell me the leg was there. But I think they were too embarrassed to say leg, or they didn't know what to say, didn't want to offend. So they're like, "Oh, ma'am, I think one of your possessions, with your trainers, and it was just kind of like, "Oh, it's the." So I think sometimes it's just worried about saying the wrong thing. So do you guys think that people avoid talking about these sensitive subjects, but in the workplace?
There's a lot of emphasis around like diversity, inclusion, belonging. So you're literally like, what can I say? What can I not say? You're worried you're just going to say the wrong thing. So I do think people are a lot more conscious of that. It's definitely been brought up a lot now.
I completely agree with you. Particularly for men of my age, when you look at the news recently, there's people like Greg Wallace and this guy, the Go Compare man, they're all saying things that they probably would have got away with 20, 30 years ago. But from my own experience working with these younger people, I decided to go the other way and completely embrace their mickey taking towards me. Once I'd been there a while, they all knew me. I started off of David, obviously, but then after a while, one of them called me Dad by mistake in the office, and I said, "Yes, my son," and we made a little joke of it. In the end, a few of them are calling me Dad or Pops, and I said, "Look, I'm perfectly cool with that, but not when we've got clients like have come into the office. We need to behave at this point." So you can twist it on its head.
I think in the wheelchair basketball world, because everyone's got a disability and just so open with it, some of the dark humour, I think, would horrify people. And I realise I mustn't I'd be a horrible disability advocate if I use some of this. But
You must have seen and heard some stuff then, I'm guessing, Amy, right?
Definitely, yeah. I think that's what helped me kind of accept my disability, because for so long I just didn't know anyone with a disability was just embarrassed. I wanted to be normal, wear these big baggy flares. I can't pull them off like you. I'm not that cool. And it was people kind of in basketball with disabilities that would kind of take each other's wheels off their chairs and hide it. Someone hid my leg like on the first day, and at first I was horrified, and I was like, nah, missing bits and pieces, it's all fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's the most inappropriate thing that someone said about your diagnosis but that's made you laugh?
Because I am an activist for like cancer and cancer awareness and like trying to change the narrative. For a long time, people thought I was faking. People thought I was faking that I had cancer, which is like absurd because because I hold it so well and I just like am so positive. People thought that I was faking my diagnosis for clout, which is crazy.
Your attitude is genuinely amazing, though.
Amy, have you ever had inappropriate comments about being blind that have made you laugh?
I always get "Can you do stairs?" I'm like, it's my eyes that don't work, not my legs.
I know what you mean. I kind of sometimes wear my prosthetic leg and then sometimes in a chair, and it's just mad from that difference how people can treat you. And if people treat you as you're incapable or dependent too much, it's kind of dangerous. You start seeing yourself as that. This is why I'm just so passionate now, kind of for things like this, the space AXA are putting for these conversations, just if there are people who are new to the disabled world or kids kind of diagnosed with something, just don't limit yourself. Don't let yourself be put in that box and believe it.
I want to ask you, what's the wildest question you've ever been asked?
I'm not sure how PG it has to be, but a question that I've been asked a few times is like, if you're sleeping with someone, like, what do you do with it? Do you take it off? Where do you put it? How does it work?
Was that like a love interest, or was that just a random person? Like, who asked you that?
It's been asked a few times, and I remember at university, I was still maybe not the most confident with my leg. And I remember a guy had come up to me and been like, oh, we all did a poll on if you'd sleep with someone with one leg. And I remember being really mortified at the time, like, oh God, I didn't realise that made me less attractive. Oh no, is that like a thing that's like the forefront of people's minds?
What's the craziest joke / insult someone has made about you?
At uni, people had to bring like the weirdest thing you could drink out of, and someone asked to borrow it. But then they didn't bring it back for ages, so I was just sat there waiting, and they went and took it to. So that's probably a joke that I didn't think through very much. Like, hang on, I need it now.
So you can take a cocktail from...
You can. It's quite big as well. You could get quite drunk, I reckon. Yeah, from that. So what's one thing you wish people understood more about living with cancer?
Cancer is not undefeated. Like, millions of people have gone up in cancer and won. So, like, you got to have that mindset to be positive and understand that, like, not too high on the highs, not too low on the lows, continue to move forward. That's why I really started my own movement called Cancer Bay. So Cancer Bay is a new age charity and online movement focused on changing the stigma associated with cancer.
You are genuinely an absolute spirit for all of these people. The way you've just explained what you just have, I find that completely inspiring.
Fist pumps coming. Yeah, yes.
Amy, how about you? Have you had any similar experiences?
I was born blind, so I've known no difference, but sometimes people lose sight as well. I think there's a real fear around blindness. It's well documented that if people were asked, if you had to lose something, what would you want to lose least? People are really scared of not being able to see, and they think that life is really very hard for blind people, or that you can't achieve very much. So for me, it would be to make people reframe the way that they think about it, because I can do everything that most, sighted people can do, and do it really well. And I'm happy with my life. I don't feel that I'm living without something. I do things differently. I problem solve. I don't feel that my life is terrible or that I am a victim. It's just, I was born blind. I was born a woman. I was born white. I was born straight. It's just a part of me. It doesn't define me. I like it when my friends forget that I can't see, and one of them will offer me a print book and go, "Oh, do you want to read this?" And I go, "Yeah, maybe tell me what it is, and I'll look at for the Kindle version." But I think that's the thing for me. It's just, it really isn't the end of the world.
There's a saying, like, if you lose one of your senses, the others get stronger. Is that the case?
I think they think it might be, but I don't know. I have really good hearing, so much so that I could tell that the neighbour had mice when she didn't know it. That made me think I was having a nervous breakdown, but it did get resolved when she found out that she did have mice and I wasn't imagining it. So I do definitely have good hearing. I think maybe you appreciate senses more, have good smell. I remember when I was a teenager, if I used to get the train to Birmingham New Street, if the assistants didn't meet me off the train, I'd go up the stairs and be able to find a member of staff because I knew that the office was next to Burger King. So sniff that out, you'll find the office. So I think maybe it's just you just use things differently.
How can we make talking about these issues the norm?
I think it's about being open, but also how we react when someone asks us questions, because sometimes we do get really silly questions. And if you respond kind of aggressively or not receptively, then it can make people be fearful of asking again.
And the world is getting better in this way, as we touched on earlier. I do think people need to be educated to learn, to listen, and bring the whole thing together.
Yeah, I think people need to be more understanding, have more empathy, put yourself in other people's shoes.
Amy, you've been amazing today for us all.
Breaking down barriers begins with asking questions. Know you can ask, know you can.